Now that we have coded two simple ACP servers and ACP clients, it's a good time to learn about Agent Run Lifecycle. The Agent Communication Protocol, or ACP, defines a structured lifecycle for individual agent execution, and individual agent executions are managed through agent runs. Predominantly, there are two types of agent runs. One is that you create the agent, it makes some progress, and then it completes or fails or gets cancelled. In the agent run await, you create the agent, it does some progress, and then it pauses for some input either from the user or from an MCP server or something, and then you can signal the agent to continue execution or cancel. You can see the agent run lifecycle on the screen. So when you make a call to /runs API, agent gets created and its state is created, but it hasn't started to do anything. Then it picks up the work and then it goes to in progress state. If you have done agent run, if you have made an agent run, your agent goes from in progress either to cancelled or completed or failed. If you have done an agent run await, it goes from in progress to awaiting, and that is where it's waiting for an input. And if you say continue, from being awaiting, it goes to either completed if it's successful, or it goes to failed if it wasn't successful. And also you can signal the agent to cancel and not continue. In that case, first it goes to canceling state and then goes to canceled. The APIs that are relevant to agent run are on the screen. So if you want to execute an agent or run it, you make a post HTTP call to /runs endpoint. You need to provide at least two parameters. One is the name of the agent. The second one is the input. The input has content type and content. In our meaning agent example or dictionary example, the content type was plain text and the content was book. If you do an agent run, immediately after calling the /runs, you get the run ID and the complete response. But if you do agent run await, you will get just an run ID, and then you have the get method of /runs run ID to query the status of the agent. And then if you want to continue the execution or resume execution, you make the call to same endpoint /runs run ID, but with HTTP post. And if you want to cancel the execution, you make an HTTP post call to /runs run ID and then cancel. SDK clients can run an agent in three modes. The mode parameter in /runs API basically decides which mode is chosen, and synchronous is the default mode. So if you do not provide the mode parameter or attribute, the sync is default. So what is sync? Sync represents synchronous execution. The client runs the agent and then waits for a complete response, and the server returns a response if it's successful or just returns failed. In async mode or asynchronous mode, server responds with a run ID only, and the client is responsible to check the state of the agent and pulls for the result of the run. And it does it using making an HTTP GET call to /runs /run ID, and run ID is the ID of the run. The third mode is a stream. A stream is basically another form of agent run await. In a stream, the agent delivers the incremental updates as the agent processes. Now let's go to Visual Studio again. So I had this server.py, which was basically a dictionary. The agent name was meaning agent, and we provided a word like book to get its meaning. So let's go here and run this again. So it's listening on localhost port 8000. Let's go to Postman. This is Postman. We have seen this before. If you remember, we made a call to /agents and it gave us the list of agents. So as I said, if you want to execute the agent, you need to make HTTP post, not get, to /runs. To make this call, you need to provide the content type header of type application JSON and a body. In the body, as I said, there are two mandatory attributes, agent name and input. Agent name is meaning agent. Input is an array of objects. The object has these parameters. Role is either agent or user. User means that you are passing the input from an actual user. But if you make an API call using a client, agent client, then you just put agent in here. And then parts is basically an array of different types of content. Every part has content type. In my example, text text plain, and content, in my example, it's a book. Now you can understand why we said that in SDK we have a model called message, and every message has an attribute called parts, and every part was a model called message part. Message part was representing this bit, and message was representing this bit, the input. Mode is optional. You cannot specify it. If you do not specify it, it's synchronous. So let's call this. This will execute the agent and gives you a response. As you can see, run ID is returned. This is very important for asynchronous executions. Agent name, session ID, status completed. So we didn't have any error or failure. Await request is null because we did a synchronous code. It wasn't asynchronous. And the output is basically the parts and the content. The content type is text plain, and the actual content is book, a set of written, printed, or blank pages. We have seen this response before from OpenAI. Now, if I change this sync to asynchronous, I'm making an asynchronous call. In that case, I only get run ID. I don't get any content back. If you want to see what's happening to your agent, you need to copy this run ID, go to your API, make a call to /runs and provide the run ID, and you have to be on get. So as you can see, now I get status completed. The status is completed because my agent didn't pause, and also you get a content back. If I had a pause in my agent, and if I wanted to resume it, I would change the get to post, but then I would just make the same call to /runs and I would provide a run ID.